Yahoro minasan, this is Yuki, your realist Himidare Shimbu elf, and today I'm going to talk to you about Yandere anime, Yandere characters in seinen anime that has really scary expressions, or very much Yandere-like expressions. I think you know most of these, but I just would like to highlight them because I feel like I should just talk about them at some point in my channel. So, if you like my content, please like, comment and subscribe, and let's start. Obviously, the first anime I will speak about here is Death Note. And Death Note was released in 2006. It has 37 episodes. And the Yandere character I will name here is obviously again Light Yagami, or also known as Kira. Light Yagami is an ace student with great prospects he's bored out of his mind, of his lifestyle. But all that changes when he finds a Death Note, a notebook dropped by a rogue Shinigami death god called Ryuki. So, I think that Death Note is so popular to the point where if you meet, a random person who says, I watched a bit anime when I was younger, then definitely Death Note would be one of them. Most people even just know Death Note even if they have never ever been into the anime community or into the geek community in general or watched too many animes. It's beyond popular. And of course I'm not speaking about the Light Yagami that appeared in the Olympics recently, but our Light Yagami, like the Kira version. So it has an indefying type of hype. I don't think I need to go into reviews or what you might think or might not think about it. I feel like it's it's both. It's character and plot driven. Of course, people have been so much into L that I can never hear the end of it. And of course, you might name Ryuk and you might name Misa as potential, Yandere characters. But I think Kira really overdid it. Kira is the one who's the most mad, the most immeasurably illogical character. He has his own logic, but again, it's sort of went crazy at some point. And the second seinen Yandere character that I would like to introduce to you today is called Gasai Yuno. And I think she's already enough famous, and she's coming from an anime called Future Diary or Mirai Nikki. The anime was released in 2011, and it has around 26 episodes. Just to give you a brief summary in case you haven't heard about it yet. Reality quickly unveils when antisocial Yukiteru is called into a deathmatch against 11 other mentally scarred individuals. Each player has a prophetic device tuned to their personality, giving them control over their future and the fate of their foes. Well, the thing I have to highlight here is that upon its release, Mirai Nikki has created a huge hype of people cosplaying and reading manga and books with the Yandere characters. It sort of sprung that sudden attention into Yandere characters all around the world. And somehow it started into another trend, which is kind of pretty much related into romanticizing quirky, obsessive characters. Well, I'm not gonna discuss the morality part of it because I feel like that's pretty much subjective, and in the fictional world, and especially in the geek anime community, people should have as much freedom to enjoy and to love whoever they like. So, I don't know what you think about Mirai Nikki, but honestly, I really much enjoyed it. And I feel like no matter how many Yandere-based anime character came later, it sort of became like a repetition or a copy-paste, or maybe not as much impressive as it was back then. Maybe because it was the first of its kind. But now people have to get more creative around the plot and around the setting in order to spring that kind of attention. Each time a person starts talking about Tokyo Ghoul and dissing Tokyo Ghoul, I have to tell them, you don't know what it feels like to read the manga. You will not know the real feelings and the story unless you read the manga. I have to traumatize them with that. I have to spam them with manga vibes, manga moments that they have never ever saw in anime before they started their list of rant about why Tokyo Ghoul is trash, or why Tokyo Ghoul is bad, why Tokyo Ghoul is overrated, whatever. So, yeah. In terms of Tokyo Ghoul, I know that most of the people, when they talk about Yandere character, they will just say, oh, Kaneki. Kaneki is the main MC, so he is definitely the Yandere character of the show. because why not? I mean, he transformed into 4 different persons during the whole show, so definitely he is. But I don't agree about that. Actually, I have a slightly different opinion. So if you go and Google Tokyo Ghoul, Yandere characters, you will definitely find people naming Rize Kamishiro, which is, of course, the one who got him into all the trouble. And she's definitely mad. She's sane in any way. Other people will mention Tsukiyama, who is the lead of some sort of syndicate, and he's personally obsessed with Kaneki. Like, not even about him being mixed or about him going through a very sad experience, but he's personally very much engaged and wants Kaneki. It's almost like, if I give a comparison in the anime world, like Hisoka with Gon. It's that kind of level. But personally, I think the most yandere character in this show is actually a character called Uta. You might not know Uta, you might have seen him as a very peaceful, quiet guy somewhere in season 1, and then you just missed him, and you see him sometimes in this really nice, beautiful conversations behind his bar counter or coffee counter, whatever it is. And you feel like he doesn't mean anything to the story, but if you read the manga, if you seriously read the manga, you're gonna realize he's so much linked to every single small misery that Kaneki has been involved in. And I'm not even beginning to joke about it, because that guy is just another level. So, Tokyo Ghoul, as you all know the plot, a sinister threat is invading Tokyo, flesh-eating ghouls who appear identical to humans and blend into their population. Reserved college student Ken Kaneki buries his nose in the books and avoids the news of the growing crisis. It's like thinking, this has nothing to do with me. I'm going just to focus on my books, my college life. However, the appearance of an attractive woman named Rize Kamishiro shatters his solitude when she forwardly asks him for a date. So this is how the whole story began. And I still can't believe this is just how it did, because after reading all of those events, my mind is just so full of many ideas that I don't know how to think about it anymore. I feel like Rize was not even the real evil in the story. You feel like maybe she was probably the lesser evil. Like, if she really succeeded into eating Kaneki at that point, maybe he wouldn't have went through all the traumatic, difficult, sad moments he went through later. And this is again a shout out to people who don't read or watch the news because it's not their business or it's too negative. Like, look what happened to Kaneki. Yeah. Have you ever heard about Elfen Lied? Elfen Lied was released in 2004 and has 13 episodes. And the other character I will nominate is called Lucy. As a result, I would like you to keep in mind the circumstance of Lucy, because that's gonna relate too much to the next anime I'm going to recommend. And I urge you to think about whether this character can be called Yandere per choice or Yandere because of other reasons. Lucy is a special breed of a human born with a short pair of horns and invisible telekinetic hands that lands her as a victim of human scientific experiments by the government. However, as circumstances present her an opportunity to escape, Lucy, corrupted by the confinement and torture, unleashes a torrent of bloodshed as she escapes her captors. College student Kota and his cousin Myuka, who unknowingly take the injured fugitive into their care. This act of kindness will turn their lives upside down. So, I feel like you already saw some of the photos of Lucy covered in the blood in some of the sites if you are the type who likes seeing anime. In case not, I urge you to try it. Even though it's an old anime, it still has fairly nice animation, I would say. And I think I enjoy gore stuff, so well, why not? Another piece of information I would like to add to this video is something that I found on my anime list regarding the drawings that are on the opening and the ending, and how the author was very much affected by Klimt artistic works, and he tried to incorporate it into the anime story and also into the opening visuals and the ending visuals. So please read this small paragraph here and let me know if you knew this before or not. Have you ever heard about this opening? In either case, I have to tell you about Deadman Wonderland, and it was released in 2011 and it has 12 episodes. And the Yandere character I will nominate is Shiro. After being falsely accused as the murderer of his entire class, high schooler Ganta must learn to survive in a mysterious creepy prison while also looking to clear out his name. So, well, is Shiro really a bad person, or does she have a double personality, or is she also a victim of experiments by some shady government organization? I think I will leave this up to you. And again, because it's only 12 episodes, they definitely don't cover much of the story in the manga. And honestly, after reading the manga, it made sense to me because it's too much gory and it's too much heavy themes coming in the manga that I cannot imagine them even giving it a chance to be animated even nowadays, when things are slightly less stricter than back then. I feel like the moment I mentioned it, Yandere seinen anime characters with really twisted expressions, you have already imagined it Javami Yumiko. Because that's what it means to be Javami Yumiko. And Javami Yumiko is a character in Kakegurui, the famous gambling anime if you know about it. It was released in 2017. It has 2 seasons, 24 episodes in total, and also live action, again 2 seasons. And I think the live action was so well done that I would recommend it as well, surprisingly. And it is a show about Hirakawa Private Academy, a prestigious institution that hosts students from powerful, wealthy, and influential families. Students face off against one another in high-stakes gambling bets to determine their status and hierarchy within the academy. Well, that's pretty much the plot of the whole Kakegurui. I have now to move on to what are the potential other Yandere characters that you might hear about in this same anime, and also why I really love it so much. So, usually when you Google Kakegurui, besides Javami Yumiko, people mostly focus on Midari Ikishima, because she also have a twisted expression, and she's also out of this world. Like, even her bet was probably for me the most dangerous bet that has been ever organized. She didn't have like a clear goal. She didn't necessarily want to humiliate Yumiko, or wanted status, or wanted money, whatever. She just did it all for fun, and she could have as well went ahead and, you know, got herself killed or got the other person killed. She's pretty much suicidal. This is what I want to emphasize. So in that term, she's more insane than Javami Yumiko, but again, Yumiko enjoyed that to the fullest until a certain point. So I like the fact that male characters in the show are decoration or ornaments, if I may say so, and they hardly have any meaningful interactions or impact, definitely, or impact on the storyline. Another point I would like to emphasize is that this show is definitely not a children-friendly show. So often when I go to conventions and see really young children of age of 10 and 8 and 7 and even like 4-year-old doing character from Kakegurui, I'm wondering if their parents just went on Amazon and just picked a random cute outfit and said this suits them, and they went ahead with that. Sometimes where I'm living, people are just like, well, it's not really such a big deal. It's just a funny show. I don't think it's that funny, honestly. I wish I could go to the parents to talk to them, but most of the time I just keep it to myself because you'd rather not start a drama in the middle of an anime convention. I mean, you never know. Well, I have to issue a serious warning for this particular anime. If you are not a fan of gore anime, Stein Gate, animes where things happen in loop and then you revive the same thing again with slightly some major or minor differences, and where the character is not only going through some scary events but keeps going through the scary event over and over again, then just sit this one out. Don't get entangled into it. But in case you are a big fan like me, then why not try Higurashi no naku koro ni? And I'll write down in the description section the name in English and also in Japanese name, so that you can look it up in different websites. And I think the English meaning is when the seagulls cry or something like this. But anyway, so the character I would like to recommend to you today as another Yandere character is actually Rena. And I'll discuss with you clearly and simply why it's Rena and not any other character in this particular show. So Higurashi no Naku Koroni was released in 2006. It has 8 seasons, 96 episodes. And the story is revolving around Keiichi Maibara, who had just moved to the quiet little village of Hinamizawa in the summer of 1983, and quickly becomes inseparable friends with schoolmates Rena Ryugu, Mion Sonozaki, Satoko Hojo, and Rika Furude. However, darkness lurks underneath the seemingly idyllic life they lead. Whenever you Google, ask who is the Yandere character in Higurashi no Koroni, I think generally you'll find different answers. Most people will just go ahead and give Mion or Shion, which are one of the twins, or just say straight out it's Rika, something like this. Well, the truth is that the reason why I think Rena is the most crazy one among them is simply because in each time our protagonist Maibara Keiichi experience a loop, he usually tries to save one of the girls, or maybe save all of them, or maybe make sure that none of them turn into killer or a hater or obsessed or whatever, so that they lead a peaceful, nice life and survive the most important event of the whole story, which is the summer festival that is happening in that village, I think somewhere between August and July. I think it's really enjoyable. If you keep at it during the whole 96 episodes, that would be awesome. And yeah, I would be really interested in hearing your interpretation of the events, because I feel like each season is so well developed to the next one that none of them are wasted. Even though, of course, you go sometimes through the same events, through the same moments, with slight differences here and there. It's not the Haruhi Suzumiya kind of repetition, believe me. It's definitely different from that. I forgot to mention this in the introduction part, but actually if you stay until the end of the video, I plan to give you a bonus recommendation of Yandere seinen anime that you might very much like, especially if you are over 20 or over 25. You are going to enjoy that one very much. Final and the bonus recommendation that I promised you all during this video is called Babylon. And my nomination for the most insane, crazy Yandere character I ever saw in history, and the one I love the most out of them all, is called Ai Magase. I have very serious reason for loving this character, and I'll explain them after giving you a brief overview about this anime. So Babylon was released in 2019. It has 12 episodes. And the story goes on like, Zen Saizaki is a diligent public prosecutor assigned to a case involving false advertisement, along with his assistant officer, Atsuhiko Fumio, investigating Japan's Superi, a pharmaceutical company that had provided fabricated clinical research on the company's new drug. While investigating the file of Shin Inaba, an astrologist connected to the crime, the case takes a dark turn when Zen finds a page stained with a mixture of blood, hair, and skin. As they investigate further, the case goes beyond Zen's imagination and becomes vastly complex, challenging his sense of justice and his knowledge of the truth. So this is the synopsis. And the reason why I think Ai Magase is one of the best Yandere characters is because she's not evil because something happened to her, or because of past trauma, or human experiment, or because of, mental abuse, domestic abuse, whatever any other Yandere character might have experienced it in his life. But she's actually the embodiment of the concept of evil itself. And yeah, this is definitely a spoiler, but I would love for you to know this so you can observe it through the anime and also come back to me and talk about it. Because I feel like this is really important. She basically challenges this poor detective sense of justice and of righteousness and of fairness by just showing him the ugliness of human nature and how far human ugliness and greed can go in order to, achieve what they want. And that, of course, encompass, again, indecent sexual desires and media, effect of the media, and many other things. I don't know how far I can go on talking about this. I feel like it's not fair to viewers for me to just bring up events or incidents from the anime in order to justify my point of view. But I really would love for people to try it. And also, if you have any other objections or statements, feel free to come back to me and tell me what you think. Personally, I feel like the ending of the anime was really well done, fair. You cannot add any more to that. I know a lot of people were unhappy. A lot of them said, oh, okay, there are a lot of questions. It's an open ending. We need a second season. I don't think that we need a second season. Nobody needs any more second season for that show. That show is so well done, so well closed. It keeps a lot of questions out in the open. But I think that's what it should be about, and that's how it should end. So if you have any objections or any thoughts, just feel free to write them down in the comments. Thank you. Bye-bye.